Okay guys, I normally do not do videos. I would much rather write because I have a lot more time to think through what I'm saying and there's not as big of a chance of saying something I don't mean. And but one of the reasons I felt like I should make a video today was because a lot of times when you read something you don't see or you can't hear facial expressions and tone of voice, and you definitely can't always see someone's heart and what they're trying to communicate, and it can be easy to misunderstand and make assumptions. And so I felt like it was kind of important to put a face to some of the content that I put out there. And another reason I felt like I was supposed to make a video was because I felt like, well, actually what I wanted to talk about was the Democratic convention that is going on right now. That's a whole other world that I could go into, especially the emails that just came out to do with Hillary and the rigged system. But I felt like I was supposed to kind of pretend that didn't happen and talk about something kind of completely different. So let me see if I can keep my head together when I'm not writing. First of all, I've been thinking, how is it possible for two people to see or witness the exact same thing, whether it's a speech or an event or whatever it is, and come away with completely different impressions or conclusions? It's like you're seeing the same thing, but they're not seeing the same thing. Some people look at Trump and say, oh, he's a leader, and others look at Trump and just fly off the handle and, he's a racist and a hater and a sexist and all these other names. A lot of times, some of the things, may be valid concerns, but what I'm feeling a lot of times is that it's just like this hysteria. And if I'm actually looking at it from the point of view of like, okay, what is God, what is going on, I realize that a lot of it is more spiritual than just cut and dry facts. So I want to leave you with a verse, Luke 8:18. Actually, let me pull it up here. When asking the question, how is it that people see completely different things? Luke 8:18 says, different translations here, take heed how you hear. Then the Amplified, it says, be careful how you listen, for to him who has spiritual knowledge will more be given, and from him who does not have spiritual knowledge, even what he thinks and guesses and supposes that he has will be taken away. So that, I think, is probably the biggest thing, one of the biggest things, to be careful how you listen or how you hear. Anybody can find dirt on somebody, but if you actually go to God and ask him what he sees, more than likely that perspective is going to be a little different than what it would be if we just rely on our natural eyes. And also, people ask me questions a lot of times that aren't really questions, if you know what I mean. It's more like a trap or an answer in a question. Like, you probably heard the phrase race baiting because of the racial tension in the United States right now, but I call this proof baiting because it's like, in that mindset, people can ask you a question, and if I wanted to, I could like list all of my answers, which in my view maybe would be answering the question, but it's like they don't even hear it, and they just go right back to either asking the same question, or saying what I answered with was invalid, or trying to back me into a corner or whatever, which is fine, but I could entertain that forever and ever and ever, and that's not the point. I'm not here to like manipulate someone into thinking the way I do, I always encourage people to ask God for themselves what they should do and how He sees things. But the reason I talk about this is because it is a journey that I'm on, and I feel like I'm supposed to be vocal about it. And I guess if I make some enemies along the way, that's unfortunate. It's not what I'm trying to do. So when I ask myself or ask God why people are losing their minds or like this hysteria over the subject of Trump, and not just the left, not just secular culture. I see this a lot in Christian circles too. Just this like inability to even look at the situation. I don't know if I even want to use the word objectively, but calmly and with peace in their hearts, or from God's perspective, like ask Him, what's going on, not, lose your head. Maybe we do need to lose our heads, actually. Anyways, but when I asked God that question, I saw the word offense, and, just let that sink in a little bit. And then I asked myself, okay, if that's what's going on, if that's what's causing the pain and hysteria, offense, how would I view the situation differently if offense was not there? Would I view it differently? Would I view Donald Trump differently if offense wasn't there? Offense at whatever, something he said, something that's attached itself in my heart, and I'm just hanging on to it and not looking at it from the spirit of love, power, and a sound mind. And referencing back to the verse, be careful how you hear. It's important that we have eyes to see and ears to hear what God is saying and what God is doing, not necessarily just the drama that's happening, on the earth, because that would be really overwhelming to just immerse yourself into. It would be really confusing, and actually, if I wouldn't have originally asked God what He's doing, what He thinks, there's no way that I could at all be going on this journey, because it's super overwhelming, and I constantly have to back up from it all, and just, you don't absorb it. You just go right back to asking God, okay, well, what do you think is going on? What are you saying? What are you doing through these people? The last thing that I would leave you with is just the question, if it is possible that there is offense, my prayer would be that we would all just be released from the spirit of offense, because that is not the spirit of truth. The spirit of truth isn't just the truth, the correct thing. The truth is actually Jesus, and Jesus is also love. So, we need to be released from offense. So I don't know why I felt like I needed to say that today. I could say all these other things about what's actually going on in the world, but I just felt like I was supposed to talk about this instead, and it's my prayer for myself, and that's my prayer for all of you guys. So thanks for listening, and I hope it made sense.